All right, let me double check the list here
Okay,
that we
we're
got.
checking,
I think
making
we
sure
got it all.
for a mortgage application.
I think we got it all.
I think we've got it all.
We got tax returns from 1983, 84, 85, and 86 consecutively.
See, we
And
got that.
we got my mother's pay stub
His
from
mother's
her
pay
job
stub.
from
Got that.
1972.
Got that.
And we got, what else do we
think we're
need?
done.
I think we got it all. I think we got it all.
She says we're missing documents.
There's more! Hello, everybody. My name is Barry Horvath, and this is Moving Forward TV. That almost didn't come out this week.
Did you
Your
like
local
almost mess
market
that up?
update. Almost. I never really messed
We've
it up.
only been saying it for 4 years.
Exactly.
Hi, I'm Delynn Gaston. Thanks for joining us on Moving Forward TV.
Oh, that's what the show's called. Yes.
this week.
Okay.
And today,
What are we going to talk about? This big
we're
old stack.
talking about this huge stack of documents that is needed for mortgage.
So you think you want to go buy a house? Well,
Yes.
You want to buy a house? You buy a house, but you're going to need all this stuff.
But you're going to need a wheelbarrow.
Yeah.
So there's two huge parts to getting a house and applying for a mortgage. One is the income, making sure that you can qualify, making sure that they're going to check everything. And the other part is assets. Do you have enough money for your down payment and everything else that's needed? Those are the two big parts.
Your blood type will be required.
The dog's blood type.
The dog's blood type. All right, so we're going to talk about the who, what, why, where, and when of mortgage documentation. And people ask, why are we asking for this stuff? Because we can.
No, not because we can, because we have to. And let me start by saying.
We just, really, people in the mortgage industry will appreciate this. Really, we just want to make your life awful for the next 45 days. That's really what our job is,
No. And I know you, the realtor, professional realtor out there, your clients will say, oh my gosh, they're asking for so much stuff. And I know most of you guys are very supportive and say, get them whatever they need.
Whatever your loan originator asks for, don't question it. Don't ask why, unless they ask for something really, really weird. But, then you might want to consider changing lenders. Just get it to them as soon as possible so they can get it through underwriting.
Remember the movie Guardians of the Galaxy?
I've never seen it.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny. The guy wants the fake leg, and somebody's fake leg. I didn't really need it. I just thought it would be funny.
All right, so if your loan originator asks you for a fake leg, you might want to get another lender. Probably not.
But it feels like we're asking for an arm and a leg.
All right, so what's the first big part, Delynn, of documentation?
The first big part, let's talk about the income first.
All right, because, first of all, you ran your credit, you got pre-qualified, you got some things together. But now the real fun begins. And
so that you guys know, it's not just a matter of getting the documentation, but when we get it, we're going to look at it.
They verify?
So pay stubs. Let's start first with pay stubs. We need the pay stub. We need the complete pay stub. Don't copy a portion of it. Don't take a picture of it when it's like all bent up from your wallet and everything and send it to me. It has to be legible. I have to be able to see it. And some of the things that the underwriters are looking for in a pay stub, obviously to make sure it matches what you told us, that you made, but also to see if you have any deductions coming out over and above the normal tax deductions. Do you have child support coming out? Yeah. Do you have a loan repayment that you're making to your 401k or something like that? These are important things that show up on the pay stub, and the underwriter's going to be looking at that stuff.
And they're also going to be looking for, are you getting overtime? Because yes, while you gave a W-2, how did you get that money on the W-2? Because if there's overtime, if it's not for 2 years.
Consistent for 2 years.
Then they won't count that income at all, and that's why they're looking at the pay stubs.
That's why we have to see those things. Moving on, in addition to the pay stubs, obviously, we have to have the tax returns and...
From 1983, 84, 85, and 86 consecutively. Did you like that line?
The last 2 years. So right now, we're doing 13 and 14.
Why are we doing 13 and 14, Delynn?
I was just going to say, now 15 just finished, so...
Can I put up a point for that? That was a good question.
That was a good question. But we do need the W-2s for 2015 right now, because a lot of people haven't filed. It's not mandatory that you file until April 15th, and then you can even go on extension. So we're still collecting 2013 and 2014, but we do want to see that you worked in 2015, so we need your W-2s. Now, one of the other questions that we get a lot is, well, if I give you my tax return, what do you need my W-2 for? You know, it's going to say the same thing. Barry, you want to field that one?
I do want to field that one, because we are going to verify your tax return matches what was on your W-2, because I know some of you sneaky people want to write off some things. So guess what? When you take a deduction for Schedule C, self-employment, that reduces the amount of income. Even though you got the little tax break, well, when you go see your mortgage dude or gal,
thank you.
yeah, they're going to take that into consideration once it goes into underwriting. So people think, oh, I showed you my pay stub or W-2, you're good. Really, that's why we verify the tax returns, because that transcript from the IRS has to match what goes on your 1003. They verify what you file. And here's the bad news right now. With 2015, verification process is forever. Can you say forever?
It's taken like 6 to 8 weeks to get verifications back. So that's
wouldn't-
why else we're still going with 13 and 14.
Yeah,
but the other thing on the tax returns to keep in mind is, even if you do have a regular job and you're not self-employed, a lot of times people are allowed to, for example, if they work at, like, you know, Federal Express, or to give equal plug time, UPS, or the
United
Postal
States
Service.
Post Office, yep.
If they have to buy uniforms or you know, things like that, they are allowed to write those things off. Shoes, or if you work in a factory and you have you need steel-toed shoes, that kind of thing, you're allowed to write those off.
Shoes?
They're called unreimbursed employee expenses. So if your company doesn't reimburse you for those things, you're allowed to write them off on your tax return. Well, guess what? If you do, that's going to come right off the income when we apply for a mortgage. Because basically what you're doing is you're telling the IRS, in order for me to do my job, I need to spend this much money
But you don't
to get
need
my uniforms and
shoes.
things like that. Some people do.
Like
I know in Florida, the flip-flop is the standard shoe.
Do they
but
see our shoes on
they
the
see our
show?
feet.
Because we should probably start writing them off. We need to
I
upgrade
wear
them.
flip-flops most of the time.
Oh, do you?
Yes, but anyway, so those are
are
some
you
of the
wearing
key
today?
things on income. Barry brought up.
Those are really pretty. They're sparkly.
Thank you, my sparkly shoes.
Boy.
All right, you got to zoom in on my shoes now, guys, because if you get my shoes here.
Yeah, those are special.
No, everybody's sitting here saying,
I
no,
think she wrote those off.
She's just doing that.
If you're not writing those off, you really should. Unless you want to get a mortgage.
Anyway, so back to self-employed people, like Barry started to say, on your self-employment people, just keep in mind, people will say, or a 1099 person. A lot of realtors are
Yes,
1099.
Yes, they are.
So when you know, your 1099 might say that you made $100,000 or something like that, but after you write off your Schedule C, or if you know, own your business and you have a corporation, you have a K-1, we're going to use after expenses. That's what we're going to use.
Yes.
So keep
And
that in mind.
Now that you're sick of hearing about income, pretty soon we're going to tell you about the assets and the rest of the documentation you're going to need. So stay right there.
Everyone's story is different, so why be limited to just one or two options? With Norcom's Norflex Home Loan, you're given the flexibility to tell your story. Pick your terms from 8 to 30 years, all while maintaining a low, fixed mortgage rate. You can pay off your loan more quickly or choose a term based on your budget and timeline. Whatever you do with the Norflex Home Loan, make it part of your financial plan. Norflex, short-term, long-term, your terms. Apply online at norcommortgage.com.
right, we're back, and now that we're sick of talking about income documentation,
That's just the tip of the iceberg on the income stuff
yeah,
too, by the way.
let's talk about the rest of the stuff, the
Yes.
assets.
You know, one of the biggest questions that we get is, about...
People call you all the time.
People call me all the time. When I give them the lengthy list of stuff that the mortgage... to get your mortgage that we're going to need, one of the things that people ask all the time, or that they do all the time, is they'll go to their bank, we need 2 months bank statements. So online banking is awesome. It's just wonderful.
It's the best.
But they pull up their account and they hit print.
Yeah, that's not going to work, Dylan.
Not going to work.
Tell me why it's not going to work. Because your name's not on it.
You know your logins, and you know that it's your account, but how does the underwriter know it's your account?
And this is my other favorite. Have you seen this one? Where they cut and paste it to Word. Yes. Very effective.
Then we have a whole bunch of just digits.
Because people never committed fraud back in the boom time. And that's why. That's exactly why this stuff is happening.
Right.
It's because of all the fraud that happened when the market collapsed. I mean, people were going, that's fog on the mirror if you didn't get that. And that's how you got a loan. You had to breathe 4 times, I think, though.
And have a pulse. Yep. All right, you're good. give them a loan.
Yours is weak.
$400,000.
No, you're only getting $50,000 with that weak pulse.
But so this pile of documentation that we ask for, as far as the assets go, we're going to need 2 months. They're going to look at the last 60 days
of bank statements.
Of bank statements, all of your asset
transactions.
accounts. Right, exactly. Your bank statements and your 401k statements, anything that is being used for the purchase of the house. If we're not planning on using it for the purchase of the house, you don't have to show it.
However,
can
I make a suggestion?
Yes.
I would show it because it strengthens the file in today's world. So if you got like $500 gazillion sitting over somewhere in
your
a
401k.
brokerage account, show it because it makes the file look stronger.
Right.
And when we run findings, the underwriter sees it, they're going to be like, oh, this guy's going to be good. Even if he did lose his job, it just makes you look like a better borrower. Like you're going to have the whole name in the game is show the ability to repay.
Right.
That's Dodd-Frank. That's the law.
ATR.
Yep.
So when it comes to the asset accounts, we do need the full bank statement, not just the printout, because the printouts only have a portion of the account number and no name on it. So we need the full bank statement. And when it says page 1 of 6, I am.
All right.
When it says page 1 of 6, we need all 6 pages. We, being your loan originator, needs all 6 pages. Even if like page 2 is like, in some of the banks, it's just all filled with advertisements and stuff like that. If it says 2 of 6, I need all pages.
And even the last page, that's
which
blank.
says blank, left intentionally blank, I need it.
My favorite thing is when you hear people say, oh, my other lender didn't ask for that. Well, guess what? They're going to ask for it. Because pretty much
we all follow the same rules.
Everybody's following the same rules today. Every once in a while, if you're doing a portfolio product or something like that, there may be a niche out there, but for the most part, everybody's going to need it. The lender may not ask for it up front. A good originator will ask for everything up front that he knows you're going to need and not drive you crazy later. But things come up.
But there still will be later. So here's what they're looking at, the underwriter. So I like to kind of give the background as to why we have to ask for this information. So what the underwriter is looking for on those bank statements for you, he or she is looking at more. People get nervous all the time. They, see how many times did I go to McDonald's or something like that. I don't care as much what goes out as what goes in. We're looking at the deposits.
So the Maxwell Coffee House can deposit. We need to verify that.
We have to be very careful. Most people have direct deposit these days. So if I see direct deposit, you work at, Walmart. So I see Walmart, whatever. All of your direct deposits, that's fine.
What about
but if
our
all
people
of a
work
sudden,
at Target?
Or Target.
We got to be equal here.
See what I put up with?
Well, we don't want to favor anybody.
If I see all of a sudden, if we see $1,000 deposit and it just says deposit, well, big red flags go up and they say, where did that come from? And we have to document it and source it. So what that means, you say to me.
That's my flag, by the way.
That's your flag. Say to me, well, my grandmother, knew I was buying a house and she decided to give me $1,000. That's fine, that's great, but we're going to need to document it. I need proof that grandma gave it to you, so I'm going to need a copy of grandma's check. I'm going to need a gift letter because that's a gift to you, and it's specific forms, and your loan originator will completely walk you through exactly the paper trail. So the biggest thing, tell your clients, realtors, don't throw anything away and don't make any deposits into your account without speaking to me first. And I'm passionate about this point.
I know. Listen to her voice. She's like,
this is one of
listen
the
to fight.
biggest, this is one of the biggest, most
You are passionate about this.
difficult challenges that we have because we are looking at the bank statements. The other thing, be very careful with, don't overdraw your account.
Listen to her.
Underwriters are looking at that as well.
Is that on the list too?
Don't overdraw your account. It should be. Because if you have overdrafts, be prepared to explain them. And they could
So
be
are
a
you
problem.
saying to Lynn that a loan would be declined if they had overdrafts?
It could.
Wow. Is that your disclaimer?
It could. That's my disclaimer. That's why Barry said.
Can you get back to me on
whatever we can get to strengthen the file.
Do you want to look into it?
Well, whatever you can do. So if you do have overdrafts, be prepared to explain them. But like you said, if you have $1 gajillion in a 401k, that's going to help possibly overlook the overdraft. We're still needing an explanation.
You are so passionate about this. It's insane.
It's one of the
You're like-
biggest
You're like,
challenges and questions that we
you like get
that
all
we
pumped
get.
up. So they got all this stuff. They got you all the income documents. Now all the assets. Now we go to closing, right?
No.
Okay.
But we're getting closer. The other thing,
Are we at least in the same zip code now?
Yes.
Because
Yes.
I'm getting a little exhausted. All right, I don't even know where to go from here. So you're telling me I got you
We're
all this
almost
stuff,
done.
and
We're
and we got all
finishing it up
this.
in 1 second.
Yeah, but I just don't even know. I want to go to closing, and I'm going to tell you how to do that next.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonatti created, perfected, and patented the Bonatti spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonatti invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonatti spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonatti succeeds where others fail.
Walk through life. Every day is a new beginning. Shine your light. It's a day and the world is waiting. Move along to the song, singing in your soul. Feel the beat, clap your hands, let it take control. All you need, all you want, are you ready to find your way? 'Cause every day is a new day. And everything's going your way. And you wanna make it last forever. We'll keep it together, 'cause it keeps getting better. Whoa, whoa.
Okay, we got all that income documentation. We got all
the
the
asset
assets.
documentation.
And now you tell me we're still not ready to close. Dylan, please tell me we can close now. I did write a check to the title company. What happens with that?
Okay, so that's
Did
the
you men-
next thing to go to.
Oh, you wanted to talk about that too?
Right. So when we get
I'll
when
be
we
back.
get our
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm being accused of being too passionate about this.
Yeah, go ahead.
So when the one time that we do allow and we do need actually
Oh, wait.
is that printout.
I have a question. This is from the audience. Who are we anyway? Are they like
The-
little people in the sky?
Your mortgage originator. No, your mortgage originator, your underwriters. What we do want to see when you go into contract on a house and the person writes the $1,000 or whatever it is, $2,000 earnest money check to the title company, I need to make sure that cleared. So most of the time,
Cleared?
you're not
Like-
through your bank account.
So the check had to be good.
Yes, they have to make sure that the check was good
Got
and then
it.
it clears to the account. So what we're going to see, we do take printouts. Once we have the bank statements for 2 months, well, that check is probably not going to be on that statement. So we're going to take a printout. Stop.
I'm just sorry. It's like you're a little wind-up toy. You're like. See
what I have to put up with?
No, but
I'm
it's
trying
true.
to educate people.
But it's really good though. It's amazing how passionate you are.
We need the bank printout to be from the date of the last statement through the
can't
date
even
that the
derail
check
you.
cleared. As long as I have that printout, it cannot be just here's a one-day printout showing my check cleared because we don't know what happened 2 days before that. And what they have to make sure is that there were no crazy deposits that went into your account.
So the
Do we
coffee
get
can
people
money.
Cash
cannot be.
is not king in the
Okay.
mortgage business. Never, ever, ever tell your clients never deposit cash. And before they make any deposits that are over and above a paycheck, please have them talk to their mortgage person first so that we can make sure we document
and
it.
of course, gift money has to be verified. You can
Right.
get a gift on most
Right.
loan programs. Check with your originator, but you'll need a copy of the check. They all, whoever you're getting it from has to show donorability as well.
Correct.
Now, too. That's something new that has changed in the industry to
Right.
where and it has to be an interested party, meaning
Right.
it can't be like the guy down the street.
Basically, they want to make sure that you didn't give your grandmother $5,000 and then she gifted it to you the next day.
People think of that.
That would be a bad thing, and
All right.
they're kind of cracking down on
So
that.
speaking of cash, do you want to share your little story
Cash
about
is
our
not-
little?
yes.
Tell a story about your little valet parking guy.
They get tips. Valet parkers get tips, and he had saved all of his tips in a Maxwell House coffee can.
Or chock full of nuts.
I personally like 8 o'clock coffee, but
Do you really?
Say-
Did you get the
oh,
whole bean?
loved.
Oh, I got
Oh
this
my
new
gosh,
grinder.
it's the
Oh my
best.
gosh, you push the button, it measures it. It's like pre-grind.
is 8 o'clock coffee not the best
That's
coffee
really good.
bean out there?
It
It
is
is the
really
best
good.
coffee. But
It's really
anyway,
good.
we digress.
Anyway, I'm
I
with
can
some
get
coffee. Go
very
ahead.
passionate about coffee too. But anyway, so they get tips. He had saved all of his tips, put it in a coffee can, and then took like $2,000 and deposited it into his bank statement, into his
what?
bank account.
Guess what that means? We cannot count that as a deposit. You have to exclude it as an asset
We
because
can't
we can't
verify
it.
cash.
But even if you make photocopies of all the serial numbers on
Which
the
you're
bills,
not allowed to do. It's against the law to make a photocopy of money. Yes, it is.
Oh,
you're not allowed to do that.
counterfeiting
So,
thing.
yeah.
Hey, I was in the grocery store, Publix, Winn-Dixie, Walmart, all those grocery stores. See, I gave 3 plugs to all 3.
There you go.
And a guy in front of me handed a $100 bill, and the cashier did the little psh,
Right, to make sure it was.
and it showed it was good, but she held it up, and lo and behold, Ben turned into Abraham.
Really?
Yeah, so it was really weird feeling. So it was counterfeit, and they wouldn't take it. And the guy had more money in his pocket. He didn't want to buy nothing.
Did he want that $100 bill back?
Absolutely.
He sure did.
Sure did. He wanted his $100 bill back, and he didn't buy the groceries. So I'm thinking it was bad. So yeah.
This is also a heads up for any small business owner out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a counterfeit $100 bill floating around out there.
There's a ton of them, I'm sure. I'm
right,
sure.
so we have
No,
to be
that
careful.
can't be the only one. But anyway, they
But anyway.
verified it.
So just like we're going to verify, but we can't verify cash. So everything has to be double checked. Don't deposit cash. That's probably the biggest no-no. And once we gather all of this stack of information, we verify everything. It goes into the processor. It goes into the underwriter. They sign off on anything, and then you can go to closing.
After TRID. Isn't that a whole show in itself? Haven't we done like 30 of those?
Yes, we're not doing TRID. No more TRID. But anyway, so that's the process that we have to go through, and that's just a tip of the iceberg of some of the reasons why and some of the details that go into why it takes so long on a mortgage. As much as we explain sometimes to people, we still get things that aren't exactly what we need, or things further that need further. Just not just, again, given the bank statement, I gave you that. Well, if I've got 17 questions because of things on that bank statement, we need to address
I
that.
think people should be aware that, keep your pay stubs coming, keep your
Right.
bank statements coming throughout the entire loan process. 'cause you're,
Communication.
Yeah.
Talk to your mortgage person before making any major moves.
and every scenario is different on every file.
Right.
I mean, it's like something new comes up every day.
Yes, yes.
what-
And that's why, you can't really gauge it. Some files, they sail through real easy.
Right.
If you have somebody who's like a self-employed
self-employed.
person, is going to be probably a little bit more challenging than the person who just, works at a dentist's office and makes a flat $30,000 a year salary.
My favorite word.
They're
Challenging.
so every file's going to be a
Mr.
little bit
Barr,
different.
we have a challenge here. Yeah, your credit score dropped to a 500.
That's a whole nother show.
That's a challenge, yeah.
But anyway, I think we've kind of covered things enough.
Yeah, anything going on in the community, Delynn?
We do have a couple of things. Mr. Soon-to-be Commissioner.
Yeah, well, this is not a politically
know.
approved show, so we can't go there.
But there are some things coming up on March 5th. There is a wonderful event for the Pasco County. It's over on in the parking lot of behind Bonefish off of 54, and it's for the growth and development for Pasco County. That's going to be a great one. There's going to be a lot of vendors there, and there's going to be a lot of speakers there about some of the new growth and development things that are going on in this end of Western Pasco
And then
County.
we got the Hunger Walk coming up on March the 12th.
Yes.
Which is a great fundraiser.
A wonderful fundraiser. So if you guys haven't, please reach out to us if you want more information on that. You may or may not know there's a lot of children who only eat, unfortunately, sadly, during the week because they get free lunch at school. They go home on a Friday and they don't eat again until Monday.
That's
so
really sad.
So it's very sad. So it's called a Pack-a-Sack program where we pack lunches and food and we send them home on Friday afternoons with these children so they have food for the weekend. Anyway, so this is a fundraiser and it's going to be on March 12th. Please reach out to us if you want more information on that over at Gulf High School.
It's at Gulf High School, yes.
And it'll
Starts
be a
at
lot of
9
fun.
o'clock in the
And
morning.
it's a walkathon, so
Yeah, it'll be a good time.
Exercise,
So,
it'll be
My
good.
Community Now puts that on, so they're a great organization. So thanks for watching our show, and don't forget, share us on social media.
like us,
Share us.
get it out, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook,
Tumblr.
whatever the rest of them are. I don't know. He knows. He's more of that.
Instagram, yeah, we're all over. Yeah, more people are following me on social media now than ever.
And please, you realtors out there, please share this with your clients so that they kind of have a good idea of what to expect
Yeah,
as
so
well.
they don't think that we're the crazy ones, you know. It's really the lending world that's crazy today. But it's the way it is. You
It's
gotta
the way
do
it is.
If you
Gotta
want to buy
do
a
it.
house, you got to do what you got to do. So
Thank you for watching. We appreciate you guys. We are today and every day.
moving forward.
We'll see everybody next week. Bye-bye.
Have a great week.